If your family broke this rule centuries ago, wealth didn't disappear slowly, it vanished. Most families didn't lose wealth because of bad luck. They lost it because they trusted the wrong structure. Before banks even existed, money wasn't stored in buildings. It was protected by rules, and breaking just one was enough to collapse generations of wealth. In a moment, I'll explain the exact rule the wealthiest families never broke, and why ignoring it still makes people poor today. And it wasn't about how much money they had. So, what was this rule? It's a principle known as the family bank, or more formally, a perpetual wealth structure. Think of it not as a piggy bank, but as a system, an internal financial institution for the family, by the family. The core rule was this: capital must never be consumed. Only the fruit from the capital, the interest, the profits, the dividends could be used. The principle, the tree itself, was untouchable. It belonged to the future, to generations not yet born. When a family member needed funds, they didn't just take it. They borrowed it from the family bank, with a clear plan and obligation to pay it back, often with interest. This discipline ensured the core wealth engine never sputtered. The money was always working for the family, not just being spent by it. Breaking this rule was financial suicide. Imagine a family that owns a large, productive orchard. The rule says you can only eat or sell the apples. But one generation decides, why just take the apples? Let's chop down a few trees and sell the wood for a quick profit. It feels good for a moment. They get a sudden influx of cash. But now, their orchard produces fewer apples. The next generation has less to live on. If they repeat the mistake, soon enough, there's no orchard left. No more apples, no more wood, no more wealth. That's exactly what happened to families who started dipping into their principal. They consumed their capital instead of letting it grow. This concept seems ancient, but it's shockingly relevant today. We see it play out with lottery winners, athletes who sign massive contracts, or even just regular families who receive an inheritance. The first instinct is often to spend. Buy a new house, a fancy car, go on extravagant vacations. They are chopping down the trees. They're consuming the capital. Within a few years, statistics show that the vast majority are back where they started, or even worse off. Why? Because they didn't have a structure. They didn't have the rule. They treated a lump sum of capital as a pile of cash to be spent, not an asset to be grown. The wealthy families who have maintained their status for centuries understood this instinctively. They built systems, trusts, holding companies, and yes, family banks. These weren't just legal documents. They were the enforcement mechanism for the number one rule: protect the principal at all costs. The structure was designed to outlive any single individual. It was built to resist the emotional, short-sighted decisions that humans are so prone to making. It forced long-term thinking. A family member couldn't just demand their share and walk away, liquidating a piece of the core asset. They could only benefit from its productive output. So how can you apply this today, even if you're not a Rockefeller? It starts with a mindset shift. Stop thinking about your savings or investments as a pile of money waiting to be spent. Start thinking of it as your own personal family bank. Your capital is the tree. Your goal is to grow that tree so large that you and your future family can live comfortably off the fruit it produces, the interest, the dividends, the rental income, without ever having to chop it down. This means creating a separation. You have your operating budget, your salary, the money you use for bills and daily life. Then you have your capital base. Money that goes into the capital base stays there. Its job is to grow. When you get a bonus, a tax refund, or any windfall, the default action shouldn't be, "What can I buy?" It should be, "This goes into the capital bank." You are paying your future self first. You are building the orchard. This principle also changes how you view debt. Borrowing to consume is like taking an advance on chopping down your own trees. But borrowing from your own capital base for a productive investment like starting a business or buying a cash-flowing asset can be a smart move, as long as you have a disciplined plan to repay the principal with interest back into your own system. You are acting as your own prudent banker. The secret rule that kept families rich for generations wasn't about a specific stock or a piece of real estate. It was a behavioral rule, enforced by a structure. The capital is sacred. It is the engine of prosperity and it must be protected and grown. Only the proceeds are available for spending. By adopting this simple yet profound rule, you shift from a mindset of consumption to one of perpetual growth. You stop being just a spender and become a steward of your own financial future. That is the timeless secret to building lasting wealth. Thanks for watching. If this idea changed the way you think about money, hit that subscribe button. We have a lot more to cover. See you in the next one.